Hello, welcome to Times and Seasons podcast. This is your host, Nkem Okemiri, and today we're going to be looking at how to understand the second season. We're talking about the second season. We had established that God established or set up times and seasons at creation, from creation. There was no time before creation, and time began on the first day of creation when God said the evening and the morning were the first day. Because that's what we used to measure time on. Oh, it's night, oh, it's day. Night and day began in Genesis chapter 1. And so that's when time began. And on the first day, God made light. On the second day, God created the firmament. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 6 to 8, God created the firmament. God said, "Let there be a firmament." Verse 6, then God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Thus God made the firmament and divided the waters which was under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. So the evening and the morning were the second day. All human seasons are either dated or numbered. And the key, the decoder for interpreting our dated or numbered seasons is the creation narrative in Genesis chapter 1 and part of chapter 2. Because in Genesis chapter 1, God gave the pattern for all seasons, dated or numbered. On the second day of creation, the problem was no space. There was no space. Water filled everywhere. There was no room for anything else to exist. So God had to contend with that. God said, "Let there be a firmament." It's like saying, "Let there be space." Let there be space to make room for other things to exist. So God made the firmament and He called it heaven. The firmament was released to divide the block of waters horizontally. A part of the block went up, a part of the block came down, and there was space. It is because of what God did on the second day of creation that we have space where we can build, space where vegetation, we can even breathe. So we have space for vegetation. We have what we call breathing space. We have living space. We have space. There was no space for anything else except water until the second day. And God broke through the barrier, destroyed the monopoly of the waters, and made room for other things to exist. The second season refers to the second in every seven, whether it is day or week or year. The second in every 7 seasons is a second season. So let us say that this is my second year in marriage, I'm in a second season. Or that I am going through my second 7 years. I'm going through my second 7 years. then I'm in a second season. Or that I'm going through a second week is a second season. Or that I'm going through my second 49 years, I'm in a second season. The second season is the first year, the second year. The second season is the second year in every 7 years. The second 7 years in every 49 years. The second 49 years in every 343 years. Within the year, it can also be the second 49 days or 52 weeks in a year. That's the second season. So in the second season, the Bible helps us to understand what the challenge is likely to be and what the solution ought to be. In the second season, as on the second day of creation, the challenge was no space. So in second seasons, we are battling with monopolies. We are battling with barriers, obstacles that leave no room for other people or other things. That's what we contend with in the second season. Now, I need to add that besides the second day of creation, every other second in the Bible also helps us to understand the second season. The second book of the Bible, which is the book of Exodus, Egypt occupied every space, enslaved the children of Israel, and would not let them raise their heads. That's like what water did on the second day of creation. Water took up every space and left no room for anything else. So in second seasons, we battle monopolies. This could be problems. It could be life-threatening situations, things that want to choke life out of us, things that, just barriers that we struggle with. We are looking for a way to get out. We're looking for answers. We're looking for a way to dismantle obstacles. That's what we battle in second seasons. And so we need to be able to create space to break the power and the backbone of those barriers. So, like Israel in the second book of the Bible, Moses, through the help of God, had to apply force against spiritual force. Moses had to apply spiritual force against Egypt, against Pharaoh, to obtain the release of the children of Israel. Literally, he had to force or compel Pharaoh to release the children of Israel. Pharaoh did not want to do it. He said, "Who is the Lord that I should obey him? I do not know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go." So he did not plan to release Israel, but he had to be compelled. He had to be forced to comply with the demands of the season. So this is what happens in second seasons. We need to apply some force to make a way where there is no way. Barriers stand and say, you can't move, you can't succeed, I'm not going to move. So we need to apply some force. So on the second day, we need to we need to understand what the firmament represents. The firmament was a force released by God against the waters. And even God called the firmament heaven. So that means that in second seasons, we need the force of heaven to break through barriers on earth. We need prayer force. We need prophetic utterances. We need prophetic decrees. We need miracles. We need intervention. We need powerful interventions to break through barriers. So when I come into second seasons and I'm dealing with these obstacles, I'm dealing with these tough challenges that don't want me to find a way, God's wisdom is to use spiritual force. In the second book of the Bible, Moses tried to use physical force. He wanted to fight Egyptians one person at a time, but he got into trouble until God equipped him with spiritual force. He was putting Egypt under spiritual pressure until Egypt could no longer bear it, and then they released Egyptians to go. That is the kind of thing that's how he wants us to solve problems. So you see, God used the firmament on the second day of creation. Then he used prayer and prophetic force in the second book of the Bible. And even when we look at the second chapters of the Bible, you'll find the same kind of intervention. God releasing help to solve problems. Oh, like in second chapter of John, there was a wedding party and they ran out of wine. Oh, the situation was going to mess everyone up, but Jesus came in with spiritual force and he turned water into wine and the wedding party continued. So that's what God intends, that problems will not stop you in your second seasons, that obstacles, barriers will not stop you in your second season, but you need to know what to do. You need prayer force, you need a heavenly force, because the firmament is called heaven. So you need a heavenly force in second seasons, and that could come through prayer, that could come, miracle working power of God, that could come through prophetic decrees, that bring judgment or just whatever. You are putting the enemy under intense spiritual pressure to give way and make a way for you where there is no way. So this is what to do in the second year. This is what to do in your second 7 years. This is what to do in the second 49 years. We need intense spiritual pressure, heavenly pressure against situations on earth to make a way where there is no way. And it does it for now. We will continue and speak about the third season, from the third day of creation. Thank you.